Ever since 2003, the Honda Pilot has been the brand's largest sport utility vehicle and has gained many consumers over from domestic brands with its good reliability, versatility, and practicality. Introduced just last year for its third generation, the Pilot continues to be a top choice among three-row crossovers. So let's go ahead and check out and take a closer look at this 2017 Honda Pilot EX. Now, when the Honda Pilot was introduced in this generation just last year, Honda made the vehicle a much more desirable one, and they also made the vehicle less utilitarian. Now, I really do love the styling of the Pilot here. It somewhat has a truckish look to it, but it's also a pretty long vehicle, and this is pretty much a full-size crossover. But on most trims of the Pilot, you will find LED daytime running lights, and then we also do have some pretty good looking alloy wheels. Now, our EX trim here is the mid-trim level of the group, and it's a step up above the base LX. And you can also get the Pilot equipped with the Honda Sensing package, which groups in a bunch of high-end safety technologies, including forward collision warning, as well as adaptive cruise control. Now, here goes the key fob for the vehicle. Now, when you step up to the EX trims, you do get a smart key as well as push button ignition. You do have your lock, unlock, your remote engine start, as well as your tailgate and then your panic alarm right here. Now, this color is known as the White Diamond Pearl. You also do have smart key access on the driver's door and the front passenger door here. And on the inside, you will also find a beige cloth interior, as well as a power driver's seat with power recline and power lumbar. All right, now stepping on inside of the Pilot here, the first thing you'll notice about the interior is how big it is. I mean, there's plenty of room inside of here, and you really can't complain about space. You will certainly not feel claustrophobic inside of here, like how you will in some other crossovers in this class. Now, you do have push button ignition. Just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start. And what you're hearing there is a 3.5 liter V6. Now, coming to your transmission, you do have a 6-speed automatic transmission with lower gear selection. You can get a 9-speed automatic transmission on higher end trim levels of the Pilot. However, I recommend avoiding that transmission because it's not the most refined one out there. And when you put the vehicle into reverse, this will display your multi-angle rear view camera. You do have a normal view, a wide angle view, and then a top-down view. Pretty useful there. Now let's go ahead and turn on the headlights and the hazards. Let's go ahead and check out the exterior of the Pilot here. Driver's window and the front passenger window are fully automatic. Let's go ahead and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Now, the Pilot also shares the same platform with the Acura MDX, but the MDX is considerably more luxurious. You have 18-inch alloy wheels. And coming up front here, you will find halogen projector beam headlights with LED daytime running lights. You can also get LED headlights on the higher end trims of the Pilot. And you also do have fog lights down below. Now, powering the Pilot here is your only engine choice available. It's a 3.5 liter V6 that produces 280 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 262 pound-feet of torque at 4,700 RPM, with EPA estimates being an okay 19 in the city and 27 on the highway for our two-wheel drive model. Now, you can also go for all-wheel drive, of course, just like with pretty much any other crossover. And you can go for the 9-speed automatic transmission, but like I said, I recommend avoiding that transmission. It's pretty unrefined, but it does deliver better fuel economy numbers. But this 6-speed automatic transmission paired with this 3.5 liter V6 makes for a pretty good pair. And of course, you have Earth Dreams technology. That's what Honda likes to call it. On the side right here, you also do have Honda's lane watch camera, which I'll show you on the inside. Now, not much has also changed for the Pilot for the 2017 model year, except for that there is the addition of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but otherwise it remains unchanged. You also do have a rear window wiper, rear window defroster, and a third brake light. And you have LED brake lights. EPA estimates, like I said, 19 city, 27 highway. Overall vehicle score from the government 5-star safety ratings is a 5 out of 5. And the final assembly point for this vehicle is actually in Lincoln, Alabama. Total vehicle price you're looking at $33,930. And of course you have all of your basic power necessities, including power windows, power door locks, power mirrors are located right here, and chrome interior door handles. Now, interior quality in the Pilot is pretty good. It's pretty average for the class, but you will find plenty of soft touch interior materials, including on the door panels here, upper door panel, mid door panel, and the armrest right here. The dashboard is also soft touch. You also do have this molded stitching on top of the dashboard. It gives it a more high quality feel inside of here. Build quality is okay. However, I necessarily wouldn't say it's class leading, but it certainly is average for the class. But overall interior quality is certainly not disappointing inside of the Pilot here. And when you go for higher end trim levels, of course you can get nice options such as leather seats and heated seats and all that good stuff, and a sunroof too. Coming to the steering wheel design, it's a pretty basic looking steering wheel. I mean, it's pretty normal stuff from Honda here. I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary with the steering wheel. But on the left side, you do have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, Bluetooth phone controls, and on the right, you have your controls for the driver information center and then your cruise control. And like I said, you can go for high-end safety technologies such as adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, as well as forward collision warning. You also do have Honda's lane watch camera, which are actually starting to get rid of on their newly redesigned vehicles, which is interesting, but it works really well. It basically acts like a blind spot camera, and like I said, the camera is mounted on that side of the mirror, and it works really well. I wish more automotive manufacturers would do this, and I don't know why Honda is starting to get rid of this. Like, they got rid of it on the newly redesigned Honda CR-V, and every time you signal to the right, it'll come up, and then you can also just push on it like this, and you can activate it anytime, which is nice. Up here, you also do have a manually dimming rear view mirror, and then your sunglass container with a conversation mirror for looking back at the kids. And you also do have your map lights, garage home link, all that good stuff. And down here, you'll find a little storage cubby, dual cup holders, a 12-volt power outlet, and two USB charging ports for the family, and you can maybe use this as a little cell phone holder. And then right here is where you'll also find your snow mode, and you can switch between normal and snow mode for your intelligent traction management system. And down here you will find plenty of storage. You can maybe even store a purse inside of here or something like that. You have your auxiliary input down there, a USB charging port, as well as another 12-volt power outlet. Plenty of charging ports inside of here, which is good. Then you have your glove box compartment. Coming to the climate controls, we do have dual zone automatic climate control. Pretty simple stuff here. Love how Honda went with traditional buttons and knobs. On the left, you do have your driver temperature, and on the right, you have your front passenger temperature. Front window defroster, rear window defroster, of course, all that basic stuff. And you could control your rear climate control settings if you want to turn the fan on or off back there, which is cool. Now, coming to the main infotainment system and the head unit. Now, we've seen this head unit many times here before, and it's much better than the dual screen setup. However, it's still not the best system out there, and it's not the most intuitive either. Now, my major gripe about this system is this volume button right here. I wish they would just replace this with a regular traditional knob. Now Honda is listening to customers, and they've actually brought back the knob button in some of their vehicles. But this is your home screen right here, and you have your phone. You can hook up your Bluetooth phone, have all of your contacts stored on here, and have an integrated dial pad. And then you also do have your info, which shows you information like your trip computer, voice info. You could change the time. You have your clock and wallpapers. And then with your trip info, it gives you average fuel economy, all that good stuff. And then you have your audio. You can change your audio source from here if you like. And you have AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, your USB ports, and your Bluetooth streaming audio, as well as your auxiliary input for your external media devices. And then you also do have your audio apps, and then also Pandora Internet Radio. And coming to the Honda link, you can enable this. And you have to actually connect with the Honda Link app if you want to use its features. And you can connect using your Wi-Fi. Now, like I said, this system for 2017 has been slightly updated with the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capability. If you want to access that, just press on smartphone connection right there. Then you have settings. There's many different settings that you could change here, from the clock info, audio, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, smartphone, vehicle, camera, phone, all that good stuff. But overall, this system is okay. I would love to see the touchscreen be slightly more responsive, and I would certainly love to see a knob button put for the volume. Just ignore all the warning lights that it has on the dashboard. It's in accessory mode right now. But coming to the gauges in the instrument cluster, you do have your tachometer on the left, and then your coolant temperature in the upper right hand corner, as well as your fuel gauge. You also do have a digital speedometer, which is nice, and that'll display at all times. You can switch between miles per hour and kilometers if you would like. You also do have all of your driver information in this little screen right here. It shows you your trip information if you don't want to view it by the head unit right here. And then it shows you oil life percentage, tire pressure, pretty basic stuff here, pretty basic driver information stuff, but it works really well. It's all controlled by the buttons on the steering wheel. Visibility out of the Pilot is actually really good. I will say that it's much better than the Ford Explorer. There's just tons of glass area all around, and you have very large exterior mirrors. Seeing out of the windshield is pretty easy too. And you sit very high up in this vehicle, and sometimes it feels like you're driving something bigger than what it really is. When you get to rearward visibility, not too shabby back there. Certainly could be a lot worse. And the seats are very comfortable in the Pilot, nice and plush. However, I'm not a huge fan of this seat fabric. It just looks downright cheap in my opinion. But it does offer plenty of thigh support, and it is really plush, very comfortable, and I would certainly take a long road trip in this vehicle. As far as the way the Pilot drives, like I said, it really feels like you're driving a much bigger vehicle, but the 3.5 liter V6 produces a decent amount of power for this vehicle, and like I said, that's your only engine option. So if you're looking for better towing capabilities and more oomph out of the powertrain, you probably won't get that here. There's no turbocharged V6, or there's no optional V8 engine. But if you are looking for extra towing capabilities, I'd suggest checking out the Dodge Durango or the Ford Explorer as far as crossovers go. But this 3.5 liter V6 will get the job done, but the 6-speed automatic transmission is certainly very responsive and never hesitates to shift. Just avoid going for that 9-speed automatic that you'll find in the top of the line trim of the Pilot here. And the ride quality of the Pilot is also really smooth and very comfortable too. One of the high selling points of the Pilot. And the steering feels okay, but this is not a sporty crossover here for sure. All right, and let's go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the Pilot. Interior materials kind of follow through in the rear. It's hard touch plastic on the upper door panel here, soft touch on the armrest. You can go for rear sunshades if you would like on higher end trims of the Pilot. And to get into the third row, it's pretty easy. Just slide this forward. It's a pretty easy mechanism. However, getting into the third row, it's pretty narrow. And on higher end trims of the Pilot, you can go for a push button that just automatically slides the seats forward. Now these second row seats, they also do recline, and there's plenty of space back here. I mean, it feels like a minivan back here, to be honest. Plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom, and you can go for a rear seat entertainment system back here, dual map pockets, rear air vents, even on our EX trim. And you do have a rear center armrest with dual cup holders. The seats themselves are nice and plush, just like the front ones. Thigh support can be slightly better, however. You have more cup holders right here. And you can also go for captain's chairs if you don't want to go for these bench seats, if you want to have minivan-like access into the third row. Back here in the third row, even though the access into the third row is a little bit tight, there's actually a decent amount of space back here, and it is adult friendly. I'm actually really comfortable. You can't say that about many other crossovers. Decent amount of leg room. Headroom certainly isn't too shabby either. We'll say that the third row is much better than the Toyota Highlander. And you also do have cup holders on the side right there too. All right. Power tailgate is also optional on higher end trims. Now these rear seats also do fold down in the Pilot. And when you fold all the seats down, the Pilot has lots of cargo space. And one of the best in the class, actually. So with its many family-friendly features, its comfortable interior with lots of space in all three rows, and its comfortable ride quality, the 2017 Honda Pilot makes for a pretty good choice for a three-row crossover SUV. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.